welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here, and I hope this video finds you doing well. And if you are new to the channel, hi, my name is April, and I enjoy sharing content in the arena of all things motivation, inspiration, and mentorship, and how we can look at those elements in living in a lifestyle enriched by all three. So I am so glad that you're here, and I hope that you will enjoy today's video. So I thought it would be kind of nice to explore a little bit in the arena of making ourselves a priority. So I really wanted to dive into how we can focus on making ourselves a priority on a daily basis. Yes, it is so important to do just that. You know, I just kind of feel like it's so easy to get yourself lost in all the different obligations and things that we have to take care of throughout the day for many other individuals or just for projects and all those kinds of things. And, you know, it can kind of leave us feeling a little, I don't know, deflated maybe. And, you know, if that's something that you have experienced or can kind of relate to, you know, drop a yes down below in the comment section. I think that it's just important to really take the opportunity to just embrace the fact that we have to take the time that is necessary to put ourselves higher on the priority scale than what we might do most days. And I think that there are some tips that are really helpful in doing that. And that doesn't mean that they're easy to do per se. And I don't know, for some people it might be great. Tell me what it is and I can do it. But, you know, for a lot of us, it may take some getting used to. So, you know, I think one tip that I feel that's kind of helpful when you're focusing on making yourself a priority on a daily basis is really knowing when to say no. Yeah, that's right, saying no. Now that may not be very easy for us people pleasers, but it really is imperative in just really giving you a break from constantly always being in motion in other directions and not really taking the opportunity to take some of that time for yourself. I think it's really important that if you are in a position where you are constantly doing so many things at a moment's notice or just really piling up the plate on the objectives arena, it can be very deflating, and yeah, it's just not really helpful to your mindset. And I think it's very important for us to keep in mind that a positive mindset is so important when we are looking to trudge through different things that we need to take care of. So saying no, I think, is a great way of setting a tone that says, you know what, I'm going to step back for a second. It's not something I really want to do. It's not something I'm interested in doing. And you know what, the person that you're telling no to may just have to be okay with that. But if they aren't okay with that, probably really isn't so much your problem. Now, that may be very helpful, obviously, in a personal lifestyle. Maybe in your professional lifestyle, maybe a little bit different. But there are times that you may have to set the brakes on things, even in the professional setting. And sometimes it's not what you say, it is how you say it. Now, we are sometimes in situations where we really don't have a choice, and we may have to go ahead and do whatever it is that's being asked of us. But it is important that when there's times that you really don't feel that it's probably in the best interest to continue moving forward in a particular direction, that you speak up about that. And of course, in a professional setting, you want to make sure that it's professional and courteous. There's no need to cause a ruckus unnecessarily. But I do think that being straightforward and really just laying out the facts of why something may not work out to be a certain way is really important when you are put in a situation where you may need to basically speak up and say that no, this might not be the right direction to go for this particular project or this particular task. So yeah, just keeping that in mind, that there are sometimes a difference in how you go about saying no. Now, in the personal life, it may be a little bit easier to say no when you need to, because, you know, hey, it's sometimes you can just simply just, you know, say, hey, no, I won't be able to take care of this. No, I have something else to do. You know, you'll find ways to navigate those waters, and sometimes those waters are a little bit easier than in the professional setting. Nevertheless, saying no can be productively done in both arenas. So if you get nothing else out of that particular section of saying no, please remember that there's always a way that you say things and how you communicate those objections that will usually lead you to a better outcome and result for whatever it is that you're trying to speak up about. I think secondly, I would say setting boundaries. Yeah, so saying no is also a form of being able to do just that. But sometimes you can say yes and just simply modify maybe what you would normally do in order to make sure that you are not overly tasking yourself, that you are not overly exerting yourself in a situation that is not really a benefit to you. And I will assure you that when you start to get comfortable with the concept of setting boundaries, it will make for a much better day. As I've shared, I have lived a life in my professional aspect very much involved in customer service related type positions and very much employee-based positions that are all about sharing empowerment, are all about providing services and just easy methods to take care of things they are requesting. So therefore, it has pretty much been embedded in me that it's always been service before self, and that's a great notion to have. It's a great belief system to have. I highly recommend always looking at things from that perspective when it's coming to making sure that you're providing the best of whatever support or service that you are doing for others. I also think that being that on the downside could be that you may forget at times when you might have to stop and look at what things are benefit helpful to you. So with that, setting boundaries, especially in situations where really it's just not anything that you see that's going to be an added benefit for you, is really important, and it really is okay. You don't have to ask permission to do that very thing. I think that it's very healthy to set boundaries, and you can be very kind in the way that you communicate how and what you will or will not be doing. Yeah, I think that setting boundaries are very beneficial in a lot of settings, not just to include the professional aspect when it's necessary, but also in the family aspect, because we are sometimes driven in such a desire to want to people please and do whatever we can for whoever's asking, and we sometimes forget about ourselves in that, and sometimes people have a funny way of forgetting about you sometimes in that process too. Now, when you're setting your boundaries, again, it's not something that has to stand on volatile ground. It can just simply be that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this certain thing. I'm not going to be able to be involved or participate in this, and that will just have to be okay. And whether that person is able to understand that or not, trust me, in time they will. What you need to focus on is what is the most benefit and healthy for you. So setting boundaries is a great way of ensuring that you keep all of your energy intact, so to speak, because we do a lot of diffusing that energy in different directions, and sometimes we forget to bring in that for ourselves. So it's extremely important to make sure that we are setting healthy boundaries with our friends or families when necessary, and obviously in the professional setting, but understanding that no matter which of those settings, whether personal or professional, there are ways to be able to do that in a communicative way that is going to give you the best results and the best benefit of the situation. Also understanding when there are times when you are not able to say no or set a boundary, so to speak, then, how can you make this an easier process for yourself? And sometimes maybe just getting through whatever it is that you're doing is probably the fastest way to do that. Sometimes, you can evaluate things right on the spot. Sometimes you may need a little bit of time to kind of assess and then redress later on. And that's perfectly okay. It's perfectly human. Just remember that setting boundaries is very important in keeping your essence in peace. And a third tip I would say is, know when to say yes to yourself. That's right, knowing when to say yes to you. Isn't this what this is all about, right? Knowing when it is time for you to stand up for yourself and support for yourself and what it is that you want to do and what you need to do with your space and time, and not feeling at all any type of guilt in doing that. So whether it is you have other things you simply want to do, or whether you don't want to do anything at all of it is fine. It's all great. I'm telling you, you will get more acquainted and used to the idea of understanding that is what you need to be doing in order to have self-preservation. So yeah, now this might not be a very popular topic to those people who enjoy sucking the life out of you, but it should be a great topic for those who enjoy finding ways to boost themselves and boost their happiness levels as much as possible, and knowing when to kind of shed the light in the way of things that are not beneficial for us. It's a really good way to start. Yeah, so I'm just really interested in kind of sharing that topic, and I'm just kind of curious to know how you guys are feeling and what you may think about those type of aspects, saying no and learning how to say it and being comfortable with saying it, setting boundaries and knowing when to do those and how to do that, and also being more forthcoming with saying yes to yourself, because if you're saying yes to yourself, you're doing 1 and 2. So yeah, I just was curious to know how you feel about that, and what other kind of tips do you think are great ways of making yourself a daily priority. It doesn't always have to be things that are monumental in the sense that they have to take a lot of action. Sometimes just those small little things are what you need to kind of add up in order to really enrich your day. And I think it's just really important to do that. It has not been an easy path, I would say, in doing all 3 of these things, and but I will say it is more enjoyable when you are. Yes, I would really like to know what you think about different ways that you can show appreciation for yourself by focusing on making yourself a priority on a daily basis. I would really like to know what kind of tips you think that are helpful. And if you have tips that you think are helpful, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section below. I think it's really great to just, kind of commiserate about that. But yeah, I think for the most part, and my assessment of the concept of what I needed to do to make some adjustments and getting a more enriched life, it's definitely those 3 things that I thought were very helpful for myself, and maybe they'll be helpful for you as well. And if you're already doing it, you've mastered that, hey, drop that down in the comment section too. For some of us, it may take us a little bit longer to get there, and for those who are already there, hey, we're cheering you on continuously. So yeah, so I guess that about does it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you were able to find something helpful in making yourself a priority on a daily. And again, remembering that it doesn't have to take grand gestures each day. It just needs to take a little bit of focus on you, and maybe not so much focus on everything else. And just remember to protect your chi, protect your inner essence, protect you. And it's okay. It's not anything you need to feel guilty about or ask permission for. So with that, I wish you a great rest of your day, and I so look forward to our time together next time. And until then, of course, always remember to be safe, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.